back to family court, like, so order protection seems that's taking a lot of it time. What are the other standard petitions? Seems like not petitions. Child custody seems like a big one.
Yeah, custody is more like, unless there's a question about paternity, custody is just you got to hear it out and see if they cannot settle it, best interest of the child, who gets custody, right? That's like a whole nother monster as well. But
does the best interest of the child overrule, or overrule is the word I'm going to go with, paternity issues? So like if I'm not the biological father, but for 5, 6, 7 years I played the role, acted, thought I was, and it wasn't later on down the line that I found out
birth certificate.
Got him.
So there's an assumption of paternity, right? A presumption of paternity, actually. If you were married upon conception, or if you're in a birth certificate, you're presumed. If you challenge it, you can have a hearing to determine that. You get the DNA and you prove it. But you must establish paternity in order to receive this.
So paternity doesn't mean exclusively a shared blood and DNA set. It could mean it's a little bit more over, or is it that?
Well, there's a presumption you're presumed to be the father if you were on the birth certificate or married to the mother when she gave birth. But if you challenge it, then you can say, you know what, I'm not the parent, and they must establish paternity before they can proceed with
and then if there isn't established paternity, then I pretty much am off the hook, right? Then I cannot, and then I'm not, is that like...
might temporarily, because they will get the support from the day they file their petition, once they establish. So if you can delay 2, 3, 4 years, you think you'll be scot-free. But if you are the father, you will be responsible from that day.
And so, but I think what he's asking, which I saw this on TikTok or somewhere, which is that like basically, let's say even if the DNA says you're not the father, if it's in the best interest of the child, basically the court can hold you liable to taking care of the child, because basically you raise a kid for 7 years,
right? If
the
child
best interest of the child for you to maintain that relationship.
I'm not truthfully, and I think he'll confirm, but I've never seen that happen in New York City anywhere. But realistically, you can't. If somebody's not the biological father of a child and the mother falsified the birth certificate or lied to him,
you can't get that money back.
Woo! We out of here, guys.
It's like a policy thing, but I don't think you would ever be held responsible unless that shit came.
Okay.
Yeah, like I really don't think it works like that, because like you have to think about it. You don't want to
encourage lying.
Paternity is, look, we can say a lot of things, right? And there's a lot of affection between a parent and a child, whether they're biological or not, and there's no disputing that. But paternity specifically means paternal genetic connection, right? So maybe you gave a sample or something like that, and that's how they came after you. Who knows? But the truth is always going to be that paternity refers to actually making the babies in some way. If you didn't make the baby, it's a defense to whether or not you should, 1, be forced to have custody, and 2, pay child support.
So let me throw a little, because I'm thinking of a way to complex this. All right.
Complex is good enough.
No, let me throw a little fucking wrench in this. What if I have what if I'm unable to have a kid and we use a sperm donor? How does that affect the person?
If you signed off on the papers that you're going to be the legally responsible adult for that child, they got you.
So that's a guardianship thing. When you have a child through a surrogate or through a sperm donor, you give birth to the child's going to have a name. There's a birth certificate.
Well, not yet, but
you're going to take guardianship. You know what I mean? Like there is a document out there that says you're responsible for the child. Otherwise, the world's not just going to let you, make a baby and be like, oh no, I changed my mind.
Well, even though you were the one that physically made the baby because you're capable of it.
Not cute enough. You know?
Not what I thought.
All the Spartan times.
I didn't realize diapers smell this bad.
So it seems like a lot of the chunk of these family court cases are in this mediation period, right? So like, what are these conversations like? Like on a custody case, like what like?
Well,
I asked a good
hostile.
question, baby.
It's
I do my
hostile.
research.
yeah, no, it's a good
I have a
question.
feeling his perspective is going to be very different from mine.
Yeah, it depends on what kind of case it is. If it's child support, New York does have a guidelines formula that they use.
Okay.
You pay 17% of your yearly income minus a slight couple deductions for FICA and New York City taxes. 70% for one child, 25 for two, 29 for three, and so on. So that is a more organized conversation. With custody, they'll look at the history, and that's why I think if you feel that your relationship is crumbling, what the other parent might do is they'll take the child, go get them, enroll them in a new daycare, and then set the status quo. When you come back to court 2-3 months later, say they live with me. He's a weekend parent, right? So they'll look at the history. They'll look at the status quo to what they say continuity, make sure the child keeps going stable. But best interest of the child is probably the vaguest standard in the court system.
But
What
isn't
does
it
that
the
even mean?
isn't it the how everything isn't it the lens that everything in family court when the child's involved?
But what does it mean though? Yeah.
You tell
I
me.
don't know either. I thought you know.